Howdy. So, we're going to show off a funny build I like to use with Volt. It's not like the most insane thing ever, but it's pretty damn effective. The main thing you're going to be lacking is armor strip. I mean, you can probably fix that with. Actually, now that I think about it, it should actually work with Amalgam Argonac. Yes, there we go. Armor strip fixed. Learning stuff on the fly. So, you actually don't need any of these. We're just going to use it for this. It makes it so damage from daggers reduces armor by 6. Any damage from daggers will count, even status effects, which is why gas and electric are super effective. So we're going to be using a dagger, and this build revolves around Exodia Contagion and melee influence. Exodia Contagion, if you didn't know, it lets you, if you jump and double jump, or you, bullet jump, and then you glide and attack, you can throw projectile. And it does some pretty juicy damage. You don't need it at max rank. Rank 0 is perfectly fine, since a lot of the time you're not going to be far enough away to get that bonus damage. But it's very effective. There's already lots of videos about how to use it on YouTube, but I wanted to use it with Volt specifically in melee influence. So a big part of melee influence is obviously going to be having electric. If you can't proc electricity, you can't proc melee influence. So you need to be able to get that from somewhere. But we want a ton of gas damage. We want gas everywhere so we can armor strip with Malcolm Argonac. Plus, it's just satisfying seeing gas everywhere, and if they are armor stripped, it's actually a pretty effective status effect. It's really good assuming enemies are armor stripped. Now, you actually don't need primed pressure point or primed reach. Reach is literally just to make it easier to build up combo here, and primed pressure point just gives a little bit extra damage. It's totally unnecessary, so we'll actually show it without any prime mods here. And you obviously don't need the Xless slot. Now, as you can see, we have no electric damage. Now, I'm sure some people are already seeing where this is going. We want super high status, so this is built with a Equana Tubjai, the Grip Pay, and the Blade Bala. Bala is super important because that's what makes it a dagger. Equana Tubjai is super important because that's what gives us the insane status chance at base. So once we get Weeping Wounds going, that's an extra 440% status chance when we're at max combo. 440 on top of the base 32%. That's an extra, 352% status chance plus the 70% that we have right now. That's a lot of status chance, right? 422, we're going to be able to proc 4 status effects with every single attack. Now, on top of the gas that's already on this, Exodia Contagion, I believe it should show on the wiki, it has like a base 100% viral on it, even though it doesn't say here. So we have viral damage, and we have gas damage. It also, on a direct hit, has a forced impact proc. So now, I know our crit chance is absolute dog water, and even though we have Organ Shatter and Glider Might for crit damage, but you're going to see in the Volt build that we're going to get crit chance from there. So we've got the insane status, we've got gas, we've got viral, we've got crit damage for once we're proccing crits, and reach just to make combo building easier. I run Naramon so we don't have to worry about losing the combo because Power Spike is amazing. Literally none of these other things matter, just Power Spike, that's all we care about. Now we've got the Volt build. So we're going to be using Wrathful Advance because this gives flat crit chance. It's 100% crit chance at base and obviously scales with strength and duration, 10-second duration at base. It lets us teleport, and then we get a buff where we get a ton of flat crit chance. So with this active 199% flat crit chance on top of our 10% of base, we're going to have guaranteed orange crits at least. And if you were to get extra strength from Bull Augmented, for example, after we start building up kills, we'll be able to get red crits with this. Then we've got Equilibrium, just so we have some energy. I'm running Catalyzing Shields and Fast Deflection to attempt a bit of a shield gate, but that's not necessary. Prime Sure-Footed just because it makes life easier. Also unnecessary. I'm going to start not using those in any of my builds just to show that you don't need it. Somebody in a build I just did a little while ago pointed out that A good replacement would be Handspring, faster knockdown recovery. It speeds it up by 160% if you have it maxed. It's not bad. It's a decent alternative, but I personally still would rather just go sure-footed and then Fortitude if I need it. So really make sure that I didn't get staggered. Now, the only things important here are mod-wise is just like strength and duration. Everything else, oh, and Shock Trooper. This is super important. So Shock Trooper is going to give us 100% electricity damage when we hold cast R1. That is where our electricity damage is coming from to proc melee influence, because it's added as a modded elemental damage bonus. So it's going to give us a damage bonus, it's going to be electric, so we can proc melee influence, it's going to be very, very good. Now on top of that, to increase our damage even further and give us more electric, so it's easier to proc melee influence, we're going to be using the electric shield. Now, it gives 50% extra electricity damage when you throw things or shoot through it, and you can pick it up. And when you pick it up, it throws the Exodia Contagion through it. It also doubles crit damage when you shoot or throw anything through it. That's why people use it for Eidolon hunts, because it just gives you a ton of damage. With this, we can actually make use of it in normal missions when we run around. So we're going to get a bunch of electric damage from Shock Trooper, even more electricity damage from throwing through our shield, and double crit damage. That's already a lot of damage, plus Wrathful Advance so that we get crits on our melee. So we'll be getting orange crits, and then after augmented builds up, or if you were to just have more strength in your build inherently, you can get red crits as well. This, I'm sure you can already see how insane this is going to be. On top of that, we have speed, which gives us more movement speed and gives us a speed multiplier for our melees, right? Attack speed, which lets us throw out our Exodia Contagion even faster because the animation is faster. So everything is working together here. We're using all 4 abilities. And these guys are level 175 Steel Path, Exodia, or not Exodia, Corrupted Heavy Gunners. And you'll see it's gonna absolutely decimate them. Hang on. It is important to build your combo first though for Weeping Wounds, so that's what we're gonna do here. I like to, there's a perk on Naramon that lets you get double combo gain after you slam with your melee. It's this thing right here, Opening Slam. It's not necessary, it just makes building up your combo easier at first, though it's totally unnecessary. Okay, now that we have our combo builds up, we can reset the enemies. Always make sure you have all your abilities cast. So we cast 2, cast our shield, grab it, hold our first, cast Wrathful Advance. It sounds like a lot, but once you get it down, it's pretty straightforward. And now, we should be able to absolutely decimate these enemies. As you can see, it does a lot of damage. It didn't look like it did at first, but that's because they had armor, and then after it stripped a bunch through the gas procs, the second one just totally destroyed them. That and melee influence, unfortunately, didn't proc on the first hit. So, I'll show again, because it's so juicy. We can just throw it, and it will do big, big damage. Usually the second hit is just gonna, like, the first hit is always gonna prime them, and at least get melee influence going, and the second hit is just gonna totally decimate them like they're nothing. And this should scale into just about anything in the game. It should be able to kill anything, any armored normal enemies. I don't know about Thrax, but like, you know, your typical fodder and stuff. It should be able to kill everything fairly easily, even at level cap, as long as the armor strips. It's very important that you gotta remember, the first hit, if you're facing high, like level 5,000 enemies, you have to, the first hit's never gonna decimate them immediately because it's gotta strip the armor first. But then the second, or somehow you gotta throw a third shot, because most of the, God forbid, you attack a third time. A third time is more than likely going to end up killing them. So this can kill anything, anywhere. It's quite fun. I mean, you might get used to the, or get sick of the carpal tunnel just jump spamming melee influence, but this is my favorite way to play it. And I really like melee influence because it's just really funny throwing the blades around. It's the kind of power fantasy I like. That, and I just wanted a build where I was using Volt in normal play instead of just spamming him in Eidolon hunts because I got sick of that. So, hopefully this build was interesting at the very least. I don't know if anyone's actually going to care about it, but I think it's fun. So, thanks for watching. Maybe you can subscribe unless you don't like this video, in which case don't do that. Dislike this video so I know that it's doo-doo water. So, thanks. Adios.